Hello everyone, my name is Dhruv and I'll be covering TLDR news as my media outlet of choice. To start off with, the term TLDR is actually shorthand for the expression too long didn't read, a means to denote short summarized versions of an otherwise long piece of text or something that people say to request the same. With that in mind, TLDR News is an outlet aiming to break down news media content in a manner that is easy to understand and doesn't eat up too much of your time. Their mandate is, therefore, centered around that very idea of making news easily understandable regardless of your background knowledge. They brandish this all over their social media, as you can see, and this is something that heavily informs their style of delivery and the content that they produce on their channels. Speaking of, all the content shared by TLDR is done through a video format posted over their YouTube channels, each dedicated to specific regions and to target their audiences better. Jack Kelly, the founder of TLDR, notes that approximately 70% of TLDR's audience is between the ages of 18 and 34. Needless to say that they are primarily targeting the Gen Z demographic here. From my experiences with their content, the videos that they make are generally aimed at giving you, the viewer, a TLDR of the background information informing the news story in question, the happenings of the events themselves, and any information that one could find relevant for the case. This information could come in the form of a YouTube video that they may have made in the past, in which case they would link to the same. Green notes that their content is explanatory and impartial in tone, something that I find myself agreeing with. This neutrality feeds well into the strictly informative nature of news content, allowing for people to form their own opinions on the stories as they so choose. Now, the narrations in these videos are almost always accompanied by visuals aimed at explaining key points or concepts underlying the stories being covered. I would say that their content is a great springboard to get started into looking into current events that you might actually care about, or you could find yourself caring about them after you view their videos on their channels. TLDR's business model is centered around three key pillars: donations, advertising and sponsorship, as well as merchandise. People engaging with TLDR's content can donate directly via TLDR's website or become monthly donors through their Patreon as well. Opting for the latter comes with additional benefits depending on which tier the donation falls under. Notably, the more accessible lower tier donor categories are the ones that can influence the trajectory of the primary channel's content and offer major opportunities to engage with the community. The higher tiers are instead oriented more towards discounts on merchandise and other non-content related things that could just serve to enhance the donor's experience and reward their support for TLDR, without impacting the primary content that they regularly produce across their channels. At the time of making this video, they have 1,326 patrons donating $7,526 a month. The advertising instead that they speak of is in reference to any ads that show up on their website as well as their YouTube channel. They have strictly outlined the types of ads that show up on their site and have made explicitly clear what kind of sponsored posts they'll do and how it will be disclosed to the audience. Full details can be found on their funding page, which is also on their website. Lastly, they have some TLDR merchandise that they also sell on their platform. While I couldn't find the official numbers for revenue generation via this merchandising, the fact that they have kept this option open serves to showcase just how aware TLDR is of its space online and how it appeals to its audience consisting primarily of what can only be called digital natives. The recent performance of all of their channels put together puts their estimated revenue through AdSense at around $7,560 on the low end and $122,300 on the higher side of things. At present, their optional donation model that complements these revenue streams here that you're seeing on screen seems to be more in line with what David Beers calls the community of values model, and I can only suggest that they double down on that aspect of things by releasing the Patreon exclusive documentaries after a time delay, so that they can incentivize non-paying viewers to support their work by example. Or later down the line, should this option become available, I believe that they should be able to capitalize on YouTube's membership feature as well to offer member-exclusive content directly on the platform that they post their news media content as is. So, to give you this presentation's TLDR, the company here, TLDR News, is a relative newcomer to the online journalism sphere, producing digital-only content that is targeted at digital natives. Their awareness of the market has yielded them steady success through their revenue streams and their steady channel growth as well. Given their easy-to-digest content as well as community-centric model, I'm optimistic about their future should they keep iterating on what they have built up over the years. With that said, thank you so much for watching. All of my sources are in the description.